Picture this, a rugged coastline shrouded in mist, waves crashing against ancient cliffs. It's a scene straight out of a saga, but this isn't Scandinavia. This is North America. For centuries, the story of Columbus discovering the New World was the one we all learned. But what if I told you that long before his ships ever set sail, another group of legendary seafarers had already landed, built homes, and lived on this continent? Yes, I'm talking about the Vikings. And today, we're diving deep into the incredible, almost forgotten story of their hidden settlement in Newfoundland, Canada. This isn't just a myth, it's a real place called Meadows, a discovery that completely rewrote the history books. How did they get here? What was their life like? And why did they leave? Stick around, because we're about to unravel one of history's greatest mysteries. Before we set foot in North America, we need to go back in time, to the heart of the Viking Age. These weren't just the horned helmet raiders of popular culture. The Norse people were brilliant shipbuilders, fearless explorers, and savvy traders. Their longships, marvels of engineering, allowed them to navigate the treacherous North Atlantic. They pushed west from Norway, first settling Iceland, a land of fire and ice. But they didn't stop there. According to the Icelandic sagas, epic tales written down centuries after the events, a fire-tempered explorer named Eric the Red was exiled from Iceland. Seeking a new home, he sailed west and found a vast, green land. To attract more settlers, he gave it a clever marketing name, Greenland. From their new base in Greenland, the Viking spirit of exploration burned brighter than ever. The sagas tell of Leif Erikson, son of Eric the Red. Around the year 1000, he heard tales from another sailor who was blown off course and spotted land even further west. Intrigued, Leif gathered a crew and set sail into the unknown. They first landed on a place they called Helgeland, or Land of Flat Stones, likely Baffin Island. Then they sailed south to Markland, the land of forests, probably Labrador. But it was their third discovery that was truly special. They found a lush, temperate land with rivers teeming with salmon, wild grapes growing in abundance, and rich pastures. Leif named it Vinland, the land of wine. For years, historians debated, was Vinland real or just a myth spun in the sagas? The stories were detailed, describing encounters with native peoples they called Skrallings, attempts at settlement, and eventual retreat. But without physical evidence, Vinland remained a legend. That all changed in the 1960s. A Norwegian husband and wife team, explorer Helgingstad and archaeologist and Steiningstad, were obsessed with finding the lost Vinland. They meticulously studied the sagas, analyzing descriptions of coastlines, travel times, and natural resources. Their research led them not to the United States, where many had searched before, but to the northernmost tip of Newfoundland, Canada, to a small fishing village called Meadows. As they walked the land, they noticed a series of subtle, grass-covered ridges that just didn't look natural. They decided to dig, and what they unearthed would send shockwaves through the world of history and archaeology. Beneath the turf, they found the unmistakable remains of a Norse settlement. There were outlines of longhouses, built in the classic Viking style with thick turf walls and wooden frames. They discovered a forge, a place for smithing iron, evidenced by slag and a stone anvil. This was a bombshell. The technology to smelt iron from all was unknown to the native peoples of North America. At that time, this had to be the work of outsiders. The team also found artifacts that were distinctly Norse, a bronze ring-headed pen used for fastening a cloak, a soapstone spindle whorl used for spinning wool, and boat rivets. It was the smoking gun everyone had been looking for. This wasn't just a temporary camp, it was a functioning settlement, a base of operations. Dating the site was the next crucial step, using radiocarbon dating on wood and other organic materials. Archaeologists confirmed that Meadows was occupied right around the year 1000 AD, perfectly matching the timeline described in the Vinland sagas. More recently, in 2021, a groundbreaking study analyzed wood cut from the site by examining tree rings and identifying a spike in radiocarbon levels. From a known solar storm in 993 AD, scientists could pinpoint the exact year a tree was felled, 1021 AD. This was astonishingly precise evidence. The Vikings were in North America almost 500 years before Columbus. The sagas were true. Landsork's Meadows was officially recognized as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the only authenticated Norse site in all of North America. So, what was life like for the 100 or so Vikings who lived here? Landsork's Meadows wasn't a large, permanent colony like the settlements in Greenland. Archaeologists believe it served as a base camp, a gateway to the richer lands of Vinland further south. The longhouses could shelter explorers during the harsh winters. The blacksmith's forge was essential for repairing their ships and tools, crucial for survival and further exploration. The presence of a spindle wheel suggests women were also part of the community, playing a vital role in daily life, perhaps mending clothes and sails. They were here to explore, to harvest resources like timber which was scarce in Greenland, and perhaps to see if a permanent move was viable. The location was strategic. It offered a clear view of the Strait of Belle Isle, a gateway to the Gulf of St. Lawrence and the lands beyond. But if this place was so promising, why didn't they stay? Why did the Vikings abandon their North American foothold? The answer, it seems, lies back in the sagas and is supported by the archaeological silence. The sagas speak of conflict. The Norse encountered the indigenous peoples, the ancestors of the Beothuk or Micmac. Initially, there may have been attempts at trade, but misunderstandings and cultural clashes quickly led to violence. The Vikings, with their iron weapons, had a technological advantage, but they were vastly outnumbered. They were thousands of miles from home, with no hope of quick reinforcement. Sustaining a colony in the face of constant hostility from the local population would have been nearly impossible. Beyond the conflicts, other factors were at play. The settlement was incredibly remote. The supply line back to Greenland was long and perilous. A changing climate, the beginning of the Little Ice Age, made the sea voyages even more dangerous and farming in Greenland more difficult. Eventually, the Greenland colony itself would fail. The small group at Landsork's Meadows likely realized the venture was too costly, too dangerous, and ultimately unsustainable. After maybe a decade or two of exploration and attempts to settle, they packed up, sailed away, and never came back. Their great North American adventure became a story, a memory passed down through generations until it was written into the sagas, a tantalizing hint of a lost world. For centuries, the settlement lay hidden, reclaimed by the earth. The turf-covered mounds mistaken for natural hills by local fishermen. The story of the Vikings in America faded into the realm of myth. But thanks to the inkstads and the decades of research that followed, we now know the truth. Landsork's Meadows is a powerful testament to human courage, curiosity, and the incredible seafaring skill of the Norse people. It forces us to rethink our timelines and to acknowledge that the story of America's discovery is far more complex and ancient than we once believed. Visiting the site today, you can walk among the reconstructions of the Viking longhouses, feel the same biting wind they felt, and stare out at the same cold, grey sea. You can stand on the very spot where two worlds, European and American, collided for the first time. It's a profound and humbling experience, a tangible link to a legendary past. The Vikings may have left, but their mark on history, etched into the Newfoundland coast, is here to stay. Thanks for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into history's hidden chapters. Let me know in the comments what other historical mysteries you'd like to explore. Until next time, stay curious.